The Little Milk Company is a group of 10 organic dairy farmers, all family-owned farms spread across Munster and Leinster. Originally came together back in 2008 to try and negotiate a good price for organic milk, and as time went on, came up with the great idea, I suppose, of adding some value to that milk and making some great tasting products.
I'm John Stevenson from Kilmeaden, County Waterford. We've been organic for over 20 years. In our system, we bring the cows in twice a day, possibly maybe at say 8 in the morning and maybe 5 in the evening, and you milk them through your parlour. We work 6 animals at a time, and what's known as a herringbone parlour. It would be a system that's 40, 50 years old now, but the mechanics haven't changed one bit. Like, the milking is still done by the vacuum system by putting a cluster on each cow. You have to make sure the cow is as clean as possible, which entails washing the animal's udder and by hand and placing the cluster onto the animal. It varies between 2 to 3 minutes to milk one individual cow with the machine.
The farmers obviously own their own farms, and they get an opportunity to focus all their time and all their effort on farming. So the natural grasslands, making sure that the red clover's in it, which gives natural nitrogen to the cows, and therefore the milk that they produce is just fabulous milk. Because we don't manufacture ourselves, because we go to some of the best artisan producers in the country. So whether that be Helen Finnegan in Knockdrinna, whether that be Rafe Haslam in Mossfield, whether that be Eamon Lonigan in Knockanore, we go into some of the best cheesemakers in Ireland. We bring our recipe, we bring our milk, and they do their magic and turn the milk into something brilliant.
I'm Helen Finnegan from Knockdrinna Cheese here in Stonyford, County Kilkenny. We've been making cheese here for the past 10 years. We make a whole range of cheeses, and for the past year or so we've been making cheeses in conjunction with the Little Milk Company.
I'm Pat Mulrooney. Angela and myself, my wife, we actually farm here together. We always had an interest in the environment, but I particularly remember one day that we were walking with our oldest daughter across through a field of milling wheat, maybe 3 weeks before it was harvest time. I picked up the head and I exposed the grain to bite it to see what the moisture content was. And my 5-year-old daughter, of course, did the very same thing, but she proceeded to eat it. So I suddenly said, "Look, stop, don't eat that." And it dawned on me, look, what am I doing? This is wheat for human consumption, and I won't let my daughter eat it. So I suppose we were interested all along, but I think that was the real point where we decided, look, we can't farm like this anymore.
Well, I suppose as an organic food company, we're obviously totally committed to organics, and a lot of our farmers, as I say, have been organic for 20 and 30 years. And we feel strongly that organic has a huge role to play in both the health of the people and the health of the environment.
Hi there, I'm Bill George. I'm manager of Coolinall Farm. Here we supply milk for the Little Milk Company. We milk roughly 90 to 100 British Frisian cows, and with a few Mount Balliard cows as well. One
of the key points of the Little Milk Company is that along the whole food chain, we make sure that everybody is fairly paid. So the farmer gets fairly paid for his milk, the cheesemaker gets fairly paid for their cheese making, and the shop owner in your local store, in your local town, wherever it is in Ireland, you'll know that they're getting a fair price as well. All of our farmers are local to you, so whatever part of Ireland you're in, there's a farmer that's close to you. So we're making sure that when you spend your hard-earned money on our cheese, that 100% of that is going back into the local economy, whether it's to the local store, the local cheesemaker, or the local farmer.
As a group of farmers, they give us back our dignity. We work the land to the best of our ability in the best way we think possible, and we know. Because we know we're giving the best food to people, and we're making the contacts, and through our Little Milk Company, we're actually meeting the market, meeting everyone, meeting the customers. It's give us back dignity.
And it's not just us who thinks the products are brilliant. In 2013, we entered the Irish Cheese Awards, the British Cheese Awards, the International Cheese Awards, and the World Cheese Awards. And we amazingly came away with 17 awards.
The first thing that we noticed when we got the first batch of milk was how beautiful golden yellow the colour of the milk is. And I guess that's got to do with the fact that it's such a grass-based, the organic system is such a grass-based system.
Like the grass we have grows naturally. It doesn't grow, it's not forced to grow. It grows as nature is capable of providing that. And you would in our system you wouldn't graze your pastures quite as often as the system would pertain to the conventional system. I've always drank my own raw milk in the house, and it tastes the very same now as it used to taste when I was going to school, and we brought it in a bottle to school when we were going 40, 45, 50 years ago nearly now.
We developed 2 cheeses so far, and we have some more coming down the tracks. The first cheese was an organic brie, so it's a little 150 gram unit. It's a nice golden colour, which is not kind of pale insipid brie. It's a lovely coloured brie. And the other cheese is a beer washed cheese, and all of our cheeses here in Knockdrina, we develop our own natural rinds by washing the outside of the cheese. So we decided to look at the fact that there were so many craft brewers emerging and look at coupling the beer with the cheese. So we developed a beer washed cheese. So that's our second cheese. It's called Brewer's Gold.
So at home we've had a huge reaction to the cheese, and Irish people can very much connect with it because it's local. But a real testament for us and a real pat on the back, I suppose, was recently we went off to Salon de Fromage. And Salon de Fromage is a big cheese show in Paris. And I suppose bringing cheese to Paris to the French is a bit like trying to sell sand to the Arabs. And we were a little bit nervous about how our cheese, would be perceived by them. But anyway, we brought it, and we had a huge reaction. Like, the show went on from Sunday to Wednesday, and by the time I got on the plane to come home on Thursday, there was already cheese in cheese shops in Paris. All of our cheesemakers would tell us that when they're working with our milk, it's a wonderful product to work with. And I think you see the growth in organics. In Germany, the size of the market there is 7 billion, and it's growing by 10% every year. In France, it's growing by 12%. I mean, organics is a huge growth. It's the fastest growing area in food retail at the moment. So we feel that there's a huge opportunity both from an Irish context and from our own context in that, because if you start off with natural grasslands, and if you start off with really good quality milk, whether it's ice cream, whether it's yogurt, whether it's cheese like our own, I think you end up with a super product, and that's ultimately what people like to taste.
It's like rearing children. You shouldn't have them if you're not going to be very kind to them and do your best for them. That's our job. That's the way I see that's what I see we should be doing.
It's satisfaction in the job that you're doing, and it's extra work, to be straight about it. It's extra work to bring 2 days milk up to the processor who's in Stonyford, and but you get a sense of satisfaction that somebody is doing something special with your milk, and it's not going into a massive pool of millions and millions of litres, and it's been produced under a brand name that doesn't give any recognition to Waterford anymore, which is a pity.
The Irish artisan sector is a hugely growing thing. I think one of the benefits out of the recession, if there's such a thing, is that so many people stood back maybe from corporate life and have gone out and taken on and started their own food businesses, which is great. We would work with not only just cheesemakers but other people. We work with a lovely ice cream maker over in Clare. We work with some of the Irish craft beer people in taking their beer and washing our cheese with it. And we also are currently looking at working with some of the smokehouses to smoke some of our cheese. So I think there's a really good news story out there. When we were in Germany at the World Organic Fair back in February, the Germans couldn't get over how wonderful Irish products were, how they know the story of Kerrygold, and they know the story of the Irish rain and the green grass, etc. But to see how passionate they were about our products really gives you hope, because we have a great story. Ireland is a wonderful country. It's got fabulous weather really for food production, maybe not fabulous weather for sunbathing, but fabulous weather for food production, and we really need to leverage off that, because there's a great opportunity for Ireland to become the food island, and I think that's we're very much behind that, and working with the best artisans across the country is very much in what the Little Milk Company is all about. I mean, they talk about the new buzzword being co-opetition, where you're maybe in competition with somebody but you're cooperating with them, and our farmers may be in competition with each other, but they're all working together. Same with the cheesemakers and same with the other artisans we love to work with.